I'm Peter Habib, co-founder, first generation single family office, MPI family office. Also the Consortium of Wealth, which we are a group of consortiums with other single family offices, a dozen or more, that share a lot of deal flow, wealth strategies, tax strategies. In addition to that, we have high net worth families. That's part of our consortium. And what I have the opportunity to do is open up our family office and show them everything we got. So it's a game changer in the industry. It's something that I had a very difficult time penetrating. And just giving a little story about our own family, I'm a serial entrepreneur, and meaning that I built businesses, worked hard for years looking for that promised land, and I figured it wasn't where the traditional wealth strategies that all of us are educated about, that I hear about all the time, they really don't work. If you really want to live what I call the healthy dream lifestyle, at the end of the day, it's all about you being able to do whatever you want, okay, with the right resources. And we believe that you have to have a lot of massive passive income. That's what our family office stands for, MPI. So what I'm going to go over today is to give you a quick understanding that we've heard a lot of noise, and we continue to, but we've been waiting for this. And that was the purpose of the song, is we've been waiting for this moment because it's been 15 years almost since we've had corrections, and whether it's a business cycle, whether it's a market crash, and there's so many opportunities, and we've been going after that. And just like yesterday, the stock market crashes. That's not a good feeling for a lot of people. Our business model does not follow that whatsoever. We're completely different. We tried all the other strategies, and we got to a point where we built returns that are averaging about 25, 30%. Now, we own businesses. We look at this three ways. You own a business. Number two, you invest in businesses you understand. Thirdly, is you got to have understanding of the tax law, that there are incentives. And one of the big strategies we pivoted in 2018 and 19, we own over 7,000 units of multifamily, senior living, storage units, and we pivoted into hotels, and we start converting them into value apartments. Because our multifamily average rent went from $800 to $1,600. It did make us wealthy. We were able to pull the money out and put it back into the system and buy more and more, and we get a lot of passive income for that. But the point is, as we sit here now, and millions of people are losing lots of their wealth, our wealth is keeps climbing up. You know, we've had a couple recent deals, 30, 40% returns. And most people, I don't know if they understand them, but taxes and inflation is number one by far. And they're the same thing. Inflation's a tax. Well, that's 40, 50, 60, 70% of your money taken away every single year. Number two is, if you're not healthy and you don't have a purpose, that's our healthy dream lifestyle, it's not that much fun. You know, you make it, you're there, then you don't have your health. Thirdly, market business cycles. Everybody understands what happens on market crashes. Understanding bad debt, good debt. Pretty simple in the sense of you want to leverage in things that are making you passive income. In traditional wealth strategies, that's obviously 401ks, stocks and bonds, term life, those type of strategies. Those to us are wealth destroyers. And then we go into, how do you create wealth? And the first thing is tax law or incentives. If I can reduce my 40, 50, 60% tax and inflation problem, I get pretty wealthy pretty quickly. We do that. That's what changed our family's wealth. We kept making a lot of money in businesses, but then we gave it all back over and over. And then we found the right tax team, which is probably about 0.1%. My own father and my brothers, they are masters in taxes. But you know, with them, we were paying 30%, 40% taxes. So we had to hire above that. I say above that, that wasn't their specialty in the sense of higher wealth. When we did that, we were able to reduce it to anywhere between 0 and 5%. But the tax law wants us to do that because we create jobs, which they get the benefit. Because we create jobs, they get the W-2 income. We also create properties and talk about property taxes, significant. So they give us a whole bunch of incentives and tax credits and depreciation, all those wonderful things off of our operating ordinary income. And it's a great combination when you do this over and over. So we went from making 5 to 10% in the market and 30% tax to now making 30% after taxes, after fees, and our taxes are almost 0. That's about a 50% compounded return every year for the rest of our life. That's where we're at. And we teach families are worth anywhere between $5 million, $100 million. We have other single-family offices we share these strategies with. We got tremendous amount of deal flow, tremendous amount of wealth and tax strategies over and over. And that was one of them. So we had a second thing here. This is the type of business we like, is we like to buy into businesses that make you passive income. This will give us 20% after taxes, after fees, return for 10 straight years guaranteed, plus per $1 million we put in, we get a $5 million loss by permanent tax code, which is bonus depreciation in Section 179. That's a heck of a deal. $5 million gives us $2 million return on our first million. And so I bring this to you guys because I'm going to ask you if you want to learn more about it. I'd love to help you. This is my new passion. This next strategy, we partnered up with Munno. Vince, in my mind, has turned, whether it's the banking and the insurance world, and he created this amazing vehicle that we use and a lot of other families use. And so let me introduce Vince. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks, Peter. So I'm actually an investor in MPI, so I'm one of his family investors. But what I'm talking about is today is this. Hold on a second. Right here, rich or wealthy. So there's a lot of people in this room that are promoting ways where you can get rich and make a lot of money. And a lot of times it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you what? Keep. And that's being wealthy. And what Peter's talking about is saving in taxes. So when we talk about taxes, it's not just income taxes, there's estate taxes, and it's protecting of everything that you build. Today, if your estate is over $12 million in 2025, the government's going to take 40% 9 months after you're gone to transfer. A lot of people know this, a lot of people don't know it. This stadium, Joe Robbie Stadium, Joe Robbie was an attorney. Not only was he an attorney, he was a real estate developer, just like a lot of people in this room. He invested all his money in real estate deals. Every time he had an extra $1 million, he was looking for the next deal. When he passed away too young, in his early 70s, his family owed $100 million in taxes. And it was a bad market cycle when they owed the money. So they couldn't sell the real estate because they had to sell at tremendous losses. So what'd they have to sell? The football team. They sold it for $100 million. They came up with the money for the tax. But with poor planning, they would have had true wealth. If they would have had good planning and not poor planning, they would have really had true wealth. Because guess what that football team's worth today? Anybody have an idea? $4.6 billion. So if their family would have did just a little bit of planning, that $100 million would be worth over $4 billion today. That's huge. Imagine the charity work and the contribution they could have made their family with that kind of wealth. I'm not saying we got to feel sorry for the Robbie family because I'm sure they're doing well, but they could have really did well. Here's another story. Vanderbilt versus Rockefeller. By far the two wealthiest guys at their time during the Great Revolution of our country, or Industrial Revolution. Vanderbilt was worth $185 billion in today's dollars. Rockefeller worth $340 billion, worth more money than Elon Musk today, in today's dollars. Both of them had two separate plans. One had a plan, one had no plan. Vanderbilt dies, leaves money to his family. Not 8 generations, like 4 generations later, Gloria Vanderbilt passes away, leaves $1.2 million to her son, Anderson Cooper. She had like 3 husbands, 6 different businesses, failed, went through all her wealth. Contrary, Ariana Rockefeller, she inherited, same time frame, 4 generations later, like Anderson Cooper. She gets $3.5 billion. What Rockefellers did, they set up irrevocable trust. They set up these irrevocable trusts and they funded them with insurance vehicles. And every time someone took money out of the estate, they put money back into the estate. A lot of people have a problem doing that because you have to lose control of your assets when you're doing this kind of wealth planning. Our strategy I'm going to share with you today, and if you want to come see us in the booth, I have big banks that will fund irrevocable trusts for you, just like the Rockefellers did. And every time someone takes money out of the trust, we're putting money back into the trust. So that's a way to create real wealth. Rockefellers have 150 grandchildren just like Ariana. So not only did he give her $3.5 billion, but 150 other kids just like her. Huge wealth. Okay, so Peter was talking about taxes. I don't know if you guys ever seen this, the debt clock. You always hear that the debt in our country is $30 trillion, but that's only part of the story. The real debt, if you look down at the bottom, $171 trillion. If the government was doing their accounting the same way that business owners do, they would use generally accepted methods of accounting, which means they have to report all their liabilities on their balance sheet. All their liabilities are future Social Security payments, future Medicare payments, pension for government employees, the student loan stuff that's going on, and all the other mandatory spending that they're doing. And it really doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on because both sides keep raising the debt ceiling, right? So it really doesn't matter because they really have 2 choices. They had to stop spending or reduce their spending or increase taxes. What do you think they're going to do? So if you look at that one column in the middle, you can't really see it, but it says there's 333 million U.S. citizens in the country. There's 125 million citizens that file tax returns and pay nothing. So they're not going to get anything off those people, and that's more than half the population. So the half they're coming after is everybody in this room. So without planning, your families can lose 40% of everything over $12 million in 2025. So what we do is we help people set up their trust work. We help them set up their basic trust if you don't already have that. We have some technology that was built by some attorneys, and we can do your basic AB trust where you set up your basic estate plan and you avoid probate, and you each get a credit for $6 million after 2025. And that's what this is right here. Or you can do the trust planning. And the big thing we do is when you got larger estates is we set up irrevocable trust. And with the irrevocable trust, again, instead of you funding the trust, I have big banks that will fund it for you. They'll fund it at like 4 or 5% interest. The vehicles that we're funding are these new insurance vehicles that earn 7, 8, 9% returns. I can show you how that you come to our booth, I'll explain to you how that works. But there's an arbitrage. And with the arbitrage and the way we fund these policies, you can make double-digit returns in these estates, in this irrevocable trust, and this money can compound tremendously. Just as a summary, because they're rushing me off the stage here, I have an example. I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but I have in my head $20 million estate in an irrevocable trust. A person 50 years old, it would cost them like $1 million in payments over a 20-year period to create $20 million of tax-free dollars. The $1 million that you're transferring out of your estate today are interest payments to the bank. And we have the bank putting a lot of money in for you to get to that $20 million, but all that money is all 100% tax-free. So this is a huge opportunity. I did it myself. Peter's family did it, and we do probably about 200 of these transactions every year. So if you'd like to get more information, come by and see us. I appreciate the opportunity. It's really a good thing for the right people. So thank you.